Oh my god. I think I like that lighting better. I like that lighting better. Hello, guys. I'm back. I'm back, bitches. I was a sailor when I cuss a lot. I'm trying to work on it. I'm trying to be a better person. Okay. Can't start the live. I like triggering people. That's why I act a fool. Is that distracting? I'm pretty now. You shouldn't do makeup while talking about true crime. Okay. I'm very caffeinated. My work meetings are so boring. Oh my god. Why you guys want to call me when I'm trying to get famous? Block. Anyway. My god. Anyway. Nadine, you talking about Miss Janet? The mayo sandwich eater? Ooh. I'm caffeinated. And I'm coming from a very boring work meeting, so we're going to make this a little interesting. Let's release the autistic ADD bitch in me, yes? The caffeinated one at that. There have been 2 special prosecutors, guys, from the Attorney General's office assigned to the IDAHO4 case. Did you know that? What is going on? Because again, we're literally 3 years into this case. Why are these 2 attorney generals being assigned to this case? Now, I'm zooming in here to one of the documents, and I want to share their names, right? One of them is Attorney General Raul Labrador. Why is General Raul Labrador getting assigned to this case? He works in a very specific field, guys. Very specific field, right? It says that he announced, this Attorney General Raul Labrador that has been assigned to the IDAHO4 case, announced that there was a Caldwell attorney by the name of Richard Hammond that was sentenced to 10 years in prison for actual exploitation of basically child corn. And, we can't say the word because this platform is redonkulous. Child corn. So they're assigning this guy, this attorney general, and then there's another one. What is her name? The other one was a female. I'll find it here. The point is that these 2 new attorney generals that have been assigned to this IDAHO4 case specialize in rug trafficking, human rafficking, and child corn. These are their specialties, and they are being assigned to the IDAHO4 case. Why is that? Yes, you're right, Nadine. We have definitely heard about the tunnel theory, not only about them doing things to girls down there, but also using those tunnels to traffic people. And I know that a lot of us here are trying to be objective, and we're like, tunnels don't exist. That's a far out wild claim. But actually, I've told you guys the stories of when I was attending university here in Chicago and how I got to go down there with some of the sorority and frat kids, even though I was not in a sorority myself. Okay, there are tunnels. That's not a theory. That is a fact, right? And now that we see these 2 attorney generals that are being assigned to the IDAHO4 case, and they're very well known to bring special cases against those societal issues that we have, it makes me wonder, do they know more about this case? Is our original theory about this being about rugs and human trafficking? accurate. Okay, here we have Brian Christopher Koberger, autistic, OCD, anxious, dexterity, coordination disorder, sitting in prison for life. Why? Because our justice system backed him into a corner, right? Our justice system is not fair. It is very flawed. It is not just. There's a lot of BS in our justice system. And when we look at Idaho specifically, what is in their corn, what is in their water, is it the potatoes? Something is going on, okay? I advise all of you to look into this case deeper. I know that we are 3 years in, but you want to always look at this deeper. Why? Because Brian Koberger, this could be you, babe. This could be your father, your husband, your son, your sister, your mother. It could be anybody in your family. Okay, any of us could be put in this position. Okay, and I can speak from personal experience myself. Well, not myself, but from people that I've known close to me in my family as well. Okay, the justice system, the court system, they're not fair. Sometimes they push you back you into a corner and make you choose. Do you want to get fucked this way or that way? Because either way, you're getting fucked. Okay, this happens all the time. And the fact that so many Americans believe that the justice system is actually fair across the board and that it's there to protect you and that it's always perfect is very, very scary, very concerning to me, right? When we look at Brian Koberger and the IDAHO4 case, we know that he's actually innocent. He's factually innocent, I should say. I shouldn't say actually, but factually, he's innocent, right? What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? That he is factually innocent. Okay, this is not the only case that I've talked about. I've talked about a couple other cases, and I've shared cases about other people, innocent people, that have been in jail 30, 40, 50, 60 years. And then later on, they finally get out to live their last 2 best years of their lives, right? Why were they in prison for so long? Because they were backed into the corner by our justice system, right? And they were wrong. And they didn't commit a crime. They were wrongly incarcerated. Okay, this is why the Innocence Project exists, because this is very common, right? And actually, you know what's crazy? I was reading up in another case a couple days ago, right? I forget the name of the guy, okay? But they're about to put this guy, this other guy, uh, to the death penalty, right? And guess what? The lead investigator of that case admitted to making a mistake. A lead investigator finally, years later, grew some nads to say, I'm going to step forward and admit that I fucked up, that he made a mistake. This guy that's about to be put to death waited years to admit all of his fuck ups. Okay? In this other case, this happens all of the time, but sometimes we have other lead investigators, lead prosecutors like Bill Thompson. Do you think he's ever going to grow the nads to admit that maybe he or his people fucked up? I don't know. Eventually, it seems that a lot of these cases where people are wrongly convicted, wrongly incarcerated, it seems that sometimes somebody steps up, either a very, very good attorney or a group of attorneys, or somebody gets a guilty conscience 30 fucking years down the road, and they're like, oh my God, I'm about to die because I've read a case of a guy that had cancer, a lead prosecutor. I have cancer and I'm about to die and I feel so guilty for my sins. So I better confess and admit that I fucked up all of these fucking cases. The only reason that they spill their fucking guts, that they're being honest, last minute is because they feel fucking guilty because they want relief. But what about the people that were wrongly incarcerated, sitting in jail for 30, 40, 50, 60 fucking years without doing shit? Okay, this happens all the time. All of the time. And the fact that people don't believe that they're not even aware of that, they're living in fucking la la land. Like, no, the cops would never do that. Cops are good people. Lead investigators are good people. They're here to serve. Are you a fucking idiot? Because again, people are people. People will make mistakes. People will do things that are immoral. People will do things that are illegal. At the end of the day, lead prosecutors, lead investigators, cops are people too. And by the way, just a friendly reminder, I know I love to talk about Sheriff Judd in Florida, who arrested 150 plus people, massive rug bust of rugs and human trafficking and child porn and all this. Who did he end up arresting out of those 150 people? Who the fuck were those people? They were nice people from our communities. They were fucking active duty military, firemen, cops from your neighborhood, the ice cream man, the gym teacher. That's who was arrested. Okay, so don't pretend or don't delude yourself into thinking that just because somebody's a cop and they have a cute little hat and a cute little uniform that they're going to do the right thing. Okay, we have so much technology right now. So much technology that you would think that we would be ethically advanced. We have all this technology. We're so advanced. But when it comes to morality or ethics, we don't fucking have them. Out the fucking window do our ethics go, right? It's insane. It's insane. And we know he's factually innocent. What do you mean by that, Nika? What do you mean by that? What do you mean? There's so much evidence against him. Sir, ma'am, they, aka Bill Thompson, aka the investigators, have told us that they were not able to actually place Mr. Koberger inside of 1122 King Road. They told us that Brian Koberger's DNA was not in the victim's house. They told us that Brian Koberger's DNA was not around his apartment, not in his father's apartment, no pet hairs, no female hairs, no human hairs of anybody, nothing. And the lead prosecutor, Billy Boy Thompson, aka Santa Claus, also said in a live court hearing that Mr. Koberger did not stalk these victims. So he is factually innocent. So why in the fuck is he sitting in prison right now? Why is a factually innocent person sitting in prison right now? Doesn't make sense, does it? Doesn't make sense, does it? And that's why we continue to dig. And I believe that they gave Brian Koberger a plea deal because they know he did not do it. And they could not give him the death penalty. Okay. It's extremely disgusting. It's political corruption at its finest, right? And we know that Brian Koberger waived his right to appeal. Well, why did he waive his right to appeal? Well, why? Why would he do that if he was factually innocent? Why? Why isn't he screaming from the rooftops? Why? People who say this, let me know immediately that they don't understand the justice system. Babe, it's one or the other. Again, like I said in the beginning of this video, they give you the option. You're either fucked this way or you are fucked that way. Doesn't mean he doesn't have options. But why? Why didn't he appeal? Why? I advise everybody to take at least a small free legal course on YouTube or at your local community college, right? He still has options. He could do PCR. A PCR is a post-conviction relief petition. And what this is, it's like he can challenge this criminal conviction and the sentence, right? It's different. This is different from a direct appeal. This is something you file after all the other appeal processes have been exhausted. And what is common grounds for a PCR petition? What is common grounds? He can't do that. He can't do that, Nika. He said he would not. He said he would not appeal. Okay, this is different. Okay, common grounds for a post-conviction relief petition means that if there is new evidence, we know that there's new evidence. We know there's new evidence. Why? Because fucking Hitler. Yeah, I'm Hitler. Well, I don't want any of that other DNA submitted to this case. That would confuse average Americans because they have below average IQ. That is actually new evidence. That is grounds for a PCR petition, by the way. Also, another reason for a PCR petition could be constitutional violations, which again, we have heard time and time again. Brian Koberger's lawyers mentioned Judge Hitler. This goes against his constitutional rights, sir. Every time that they have mentioned this goes against his constitutional rights, because we have seen his constitutional rights be violated. Okay, that is again grounds for a PCR petition. So here we have both already. New evidence, the unknown DNA that was all over the fucking house, the unknown DNA that was under Maddie Mogen's nails, all the constitutional violations that were mentioned by Ann Taylor and Alyssa Massive, and also ineffective counsel. Also has ineffective counsel. But they were great lawyers. Doesn't matter if they were great lawyers or shady lawyers. The fact is that if Ann Taylor claimed that she did not have enough time to be able to fully defend her client, meaning she did not have time to revise all of the documents that were given to her very fucking late by everybody, because what did we hear Bill Thompson say? We don't have that. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Actually, you'd have to reach out to the FBI. We don't do that. Sir, Bill Thompson, that is your job. Therefore, Ann Taylor or whoever else, whenever the lawyers are helping Brian Koberger potentially with this future, potentially PCR petition, they could claim everything. They could claim new evidence, constitutional violation, ineffective counsel. So he still has a chance. He still has a chance to challenge this conviction, to challenge this sentence, right? Is it easy? I don't think so. Is it easy, especially after every fucking body with no common sense, who doesn't understand basic legal processes, who doesn't understand what factually innocent means? They've already smeared his name, right? There's been his smear campaign, right? So it's going to be difficult, but at least he still has a chance. There's so many people that have said, he can't do that. He can't do that. He's fucked. He didn't appeal when he had a chance. Right? But I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. And we also know that, well, we don't know, but allegedly there were also investigators that had been assigned to the IDAHO4 case because they were supposed to be investigating the leaks. What happened to that? What happened to that? There were also leaks all over this fucking case. So that's probably something that could be used to file a PCR petition as well. Right? And by the way, I know some people who don't understand the law are thinking, how is he factually innocent when his DNA was on the knife sheath? Bitch, that was touch DNA. Okay, I say bitch with love. I say bitch with love. Touch DNA again in military courts. It's not allowed, babe. You know why? Because I touch you, you touch her, she touches him, he touches her. Okay, that is touch DNA. If I touch somebody and they touch another person 6-7 times, that seventh person can have that DNA still. That's touch DNA. That is why it's not allowed in military courts. That's why touch DNA is not allowed in most courts across the country, because most courts across the country have fucking common sense, bitch. That's like, let me give you a simpler example for those of you who are a little confused. That's like you touching your child's toy. You leave your child with the toy at daycare. The daycare lady touches the child's toy. And then she goes home and touches her husband, and then her husband goes out on the street and unalives somebody, shanks somebody, and your touch DNA is over there. How the fuck did that means you unalived her husband? Because that's how touch DNA works. See how that doesn't make sense? See why touch DNA isn't allowed in court? In courts with common sense, courts all over the world, military courts, US Navy courts. Because that's fucking stupid, right? We don't even know to this day, 3 years later. Blake, oh my God, $5. Blake, you're spoiling me. Oh my God. Blake, I think you like me heavily caffeinated because look, you're sending me all this moolah and my little heart is ticking over here because of the caffeine. Thank you, Blake, for the $5. To this day, we don't even know. We don't even know how they got his DNA. Touch DNA can end up somewhere you have never been to. Meaning Brian Kohlberger, in my opinion, was never at 1122 King Road. Okay, it was touch DNA, not blood DNA. It's crazy. So, who's in here? Who's in here? And who are these two people that were assigned to this case? And by the way, for the last time, because people keep reaching out to me on Instagram, for the last time, they were not sleeping. Why are the guilters to this day still pushing that bogus ass narrative? They were sleeping. They were sleeping. Stop with the shenanigans. Idaho, Utaho, Weedaho. Stop. Okay. We know that there was a they. There was a they in this crime. Okay. Why do I say there was a they? Two unknown male DNA. Two unknown male DNA. Okay. Whoever committed this crime is being protected. For whatever reason, they're being protected by the university, and they're most definitely being protected by law enforcement, in my opinion. But trust when I say that the truth will come out. And again, I know it's very easy to get down on ourselves about this. I feel like a lot of us are very empathetic here, and we're like, man, the world sucks because this is bogus, because Brian Kohlberger shouldn't. It's true. It's true. I get it. But at the end of the day, the truth always comes out. I've seen so many cases, so many freaking docu-series of people who have been given the death penalty. And then they're like, oh, it looks like we fucked up. We kind of unalived him by accident, says the state. Here, we'll give the family $5,000. Sorry for unaliving your father, your son, your mother. They were not guilty. It's unfortunate, but the truth comes out. And we have to pay attention to this. We can't allow this kind of shit to continue, right? And I wanted to talk about something that's very weird, in my opinion, that is in some of the Idaho State Police documents, right? There's these mistakes. Are they mistakes, or was this done on accident, right? Because they took the report like of a witness and they didn't redact their names. And this person actually knows someone that has been on some of our suspect lists. Okay. We know that Brian Kohlberger is factually innocent. The FBI had cleared him. The FBI had cleared him. Factually innocent. No DNA anywhere. No DNA in his car. No DNA in the house. No DNA on any of the victims. No DNA at his parents. No DNA at the apartment. And on top of that, there was a connection from this individual whose name was not redacted. They forgot to redact his name. Let me pull up the supplemental review here. Hold on, guys. Let me pull it up here on my phone. So this person, according to this Idaho State Police interview, was living in Princeton and went to school with this person that also lived in Idaho. And he's basically telling the investigator that on November 17th at about 5:15, someone arrived home to see outside of blank's house. I think it's his parents. And he appeared to be looking something using a flashlight on his phone and said that his parents were not home at this time. At his house was not equipped with cameras, which was really weird, right? But then he got out of his truck and hugged. So they decided to talk in the truck since it was still warm, and he had his tools and chainsaws with him, but needed to move them to make room for blank to sit. Well, blank told him he recently learned how to use a chainsaw and was feeling like the blade of the blank saw, and he wanted to perhaps sharpen it. So he made room for him and he got into the truck and they had a conversation. Then later on, they mentioned his girlfriend drives up in a green car. Okay, that's what he told detectives, that she had a green vehicle. Right? We've also known that Xana's mom was allegedly arrested for trespassing while she was in a green vehicle in another location. So that's just really, really odd that this green car continues to pop up time and time again. But going back to the interview, the detective said he felt like something was not right. Right? This was Detective Herman. So they checked the car and they verified that, yes, this was the address for some license plates in Idaho. And it was known as the home address was Potlatch, Idaho. And he's basically saying that he went to high school or played football with this guy who actually sounds like he fits the criteria, potentially. Because even ISP listed him as suspect number 1. They listed him as suspect number 1. That's crazy. Okay. This just makes it more weird. This was a prime suspect for ISP. Even the detective Herman, it says, I think it was Detective Herman. Yep, Detective Herman said that he was fucking weird. This guy has chainsaws and all kinds of weird shit in his car. And we already know that Brian Koberger is factually innocent, right? And then we have this, again, green car that continues to pop up. Green cars are no white Elantras. White Elantras are one of the most common vehicles you're going to see. But green cars are rare compared to other colors. And here we have this green vehicle, which looks white in night vision cameras, right? Like if you have a Ring camera at night, a green car is going to look white, for those of you who don't know. So keep that in mind, right? It's crazy. And when we look back at the footage of the house of 1122 King Road when it's getting demolished, there's a green car around the house that's going around and around and around and around, doing laps on the day that they demolished the house. Okay, it's literally doing multiple laps. Here we have a green car, prime suspect for ISP number 1. That green fucking car, bro. Green cars look white on Ring cameras at night. It's crazy. Green car. Whose car is this? Whose car is this? This case infuriates you? Good. Good. It should. That means you're a good human. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, if this case doesn't trigger anything in you, you are either psychopathic, narcissistic, low IQ, or just delusional. Normal people with normal brains who can see past the bullshit should feel emotions when going through this case. Being not emotional from this case is very concerning because here we have what? The law being broken, things being disregarded, everything. Cops calling frat boys their homeboys, cops touching handrails, cops not telling frat boys that are entering the crime scene to put their fucking weapon down. There's underwear and bras laying in the street that were never submitted as evidence. This should infuriate you. That means you have some basic common sense. And that is amazing because if you only knew the amount of people that don't have basic common sense, no survival instincts, that, hey, ding, 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 there's something fucking wrong here. I'm concerned for you, babe. I'm concerned for you. So, Bella, I get it. My pal Sal, she says, so messed up. Kivik says, from the wounds, it's impossible to say, are they from the K-bar or from some other brand knife? And I don't remember who left a comment in my video from yesterday, my live from yesterday, but it was such a great comment. And I'm like, again, there's so much information in this case that it's very easy to overlook things. So I appreciate when you guys leave educational comments on my videos. And this commenter said, Nika, okay, if this person was supposedly attacking the 4 roommates with the same K-bar, there should have been DNA transfer, which is right? If you're shanking one person and then using that same weapon to shank the next person, and then using that same weapon to shank the 3rd and 4th person, then yeah, they should have each other's DNA in those stab wounds. And none of that was ever mentioned. None of that was ever mentioned, was it? That would have been mentioned. Am I explaining myself correctly? So it just makes me think, were we right? Was it maybe multiple assailants and multiple weapons? It sounds like they knew what they were doing. It sounds like they've done this before. This doesn't sound like somebody who, I'm going to go into 1122 King Road, a house I've never been inside before, people I've never seen before, and I've never stalked, and I'm just going to go in there and cut people up with one little K-bar, although I've never done this before, and I've never even filleted fish. In fact, I'm vegan. Let me go in there and shank 4 people, chop them up, slice and dice, carve them up, slow and nice, and get them right on the liver and the lung. This sounds like somebody who has done this before. It sounds like they were comfortable doing it. And I say they because there was several unknown male DNA. Okay, from at least 2 males, unknown males at that house and under Maddie Mogan's fingernails. So that's why I'm sticking to my they. Okay, that's why I'm sticking to my they. And also, somebody who knows how to do these very rapid 50+ stabs, they committed all these crimes, okay? That's somebody who is very, very fit, does not have dexterity coordination disorder like Brian Koberger does. It's somebody who has probably done this before, very good with weapons, very good with anatomy, knowing where the liver and the lungs are at, you know? You know? This is disgusting. And if this doesn't anger you, like if you're just here chilling eating popcorn, I don't know, man. Do you score high in psychopathic traits? Because it's possible. It's possible. Right? Nika isn't angry at me. Of course I'm not angry at Bella. I could never. I only get angry at stupid people. I'm angry because of this case, right? And I'm agreeing with Bella saying that, yeah, she should be infuriated. I am also infuriated. Most of us here are infuriated, which is why we're still talking about this case, right? We should be angry and we should use that anger wisely. How? I'm using my anger to create this channel and push this out there to educate you guys on the shit that goes on behind the scenes, behind law enforcement, behind our justice system, especially as somebody who fucking did this for 6 years. Okay? Okay? That's why. That's why we're angry. Because our constitutional rights are being violated right in front of our eyes. Just because you're not there falsely incarcerated, falsely accused of a crime you did not commit yet, doesn't mean you eventually won't be. It's just a matter of time, babe, right? So, oh my God, it's almost 4. I do have to get going, guys. Oh, I had a hiccup. I'm sorry. I have to get going. I do have a meeting at 4. I have to get to work. Thank you guys for joining me in today's live. Let me know what you thought about this video. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did it stir up some emotions in you? I don't know. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. But either way, I got my coffee. So continue to talk about this case because we continue to find things that don't make sense. So, all right, guys. Take care, guys. Take care.